What's going on, everybody? My name is Jacob Johnson, and we're going to be hopping right into this tier listing video of each body part, starting with the chest. Now, just for a little bit of context, so you guys know I'm not just some fat schmuck sitting on the couch making this video. I am a bodybuilder of 4 years. Here are some pictures to prove that I might know a little bit of what I'm talking about. And today we're just going to be going over some of the best exercises to kind of be doing in the gym and ranking the worst exercises. And if you guys are a new time lifter, hopefully this video is going to help you out. And I'm going to give you a little bit of tips and tricks I've learned over the years and maybe help you guys achieve those gains and mass increases you've been wanting all this time. So nonetheless, let's start with the chest, ladies and gentlemen. Now, chest is my favorite exercise, and I think chest is probably everybody else's favorite exercise. This is what used to get me pumped when I was starting to get into the gym. And there's one exercise that you can't go without it. It is a permanent holy grail Taj Mahal must do, and that is the flat bench press barbell press. Ladies and gentlemen, I've been going to the gym for 4 years, and I have not missed a barbell bench. I'd have shitty days where I just come in and do one exercise, and the barbell bench press is my favorite. Now, I'm going to be talking about all these exercises in terms of bodybuilders, and I understand that I'm going to get some heat for this. And a lot of people don't like doing the barbell bench press because, you can get a deeper stretch with dumbbell bench press. But I'm going to tell you, this is my favorite. It's what allowed me to kind of get motivated to go to the gym. And honestly, crushing the numbers on the bench press is by far my favorite thing to do. It's what keeps me in the gym. It's what gives me progress. I like comparing my progress every 3 months. I've grown a massive chest, and it's been towards bench press. I mean, if you do it right, if you do it consistently, and you don't have an issue, and you're actually doing it on a good regimen, you can actually see some solid improvement. So I'm going to go ahead and throw this in the S tier for myself. I'm going to get a lot of heat for that, but it could be A tier. I get the stretch isn't there, but just in terms of me, in terms of the hype I get from the bench press, it's going in S tier. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Anyone else can suck it. I don't care. I've grown big and massive from the goddamn bench press, so it's going there. Next, we have, obviously, the incline dumbbell. Now, incline dumbbell is going to be right up there. I like to go ahead and split barbell. If I do the barbell, I like to go ahead and do dumbbells on the incline. And it's really good because it covers both the best worlds, and I can still get the good stretch. And you're going to see massive growth. I mean, these are compound movements. Going back to the bench, it's a compound movement. The compound movements are kind of a must-have in terms of hitting multiple muscle groups, and your dumbbell is going to be right up there. So dumbbell is going to be right next to the flat barbell. And also, I don't have it up here, but barbell incline is also S tier. It's up there. Every single chest day starts with a flat barbell bench right into an incline barbell or dumbbell incline press. And that is kind of the holy grail, Taj Mahal secret to building a massive chest. I mean, you just can't go wrong with the compound movement. Okay, let's go ahead and move on. I'm going to move on to the decline barbell bench press right here. And the decline barbell bench press, I'm going to be honest with you, I've been working out for a little over 4 years, and I've maybe done it a total of like 5 times. I'm not a huge fan of it. I'd rather get decline with either dips or cables. I just don't see the benefit of doing decline. It's a weird movement to me. I'm just not a huge fan of it. And in terms of growth, I just think there's better exercise to do to get it overall well developed. And to be honest, doing flat barbell bench kind of covers the lower bits of your chest, the lower muscle bellies of your chest, and you don't really need to do decline. I mean, it's better to just do, if you're going to do a barbell flat bench press, it kind of covers what you need. And most of the time, what people are lacking is upper chest. So getting a well-developed under chest kind of makes your chest look unproportionate. And most of the time, your lower chest is going to develop a lot quicker than your upper chest. I mean, unless you have just a massive upper chest and you're lacking in lower chest, it's not really there. So for that, I'm going to throw it in C tier. That's just because I just don't see the benefit over, obviously, if you're going to do the flat barbell bench or you're going to do an incline. It's just not there for me. So because of that, we're going to go ahead and throw the flat decline in C tier. Okay, moving on. What do I want to move on to? What I like to do, and I'm going to do this in order of how I do my chest day. So I would start with the flat incline, and then usually what I like to do is I like to hop into a fly. Now, we're going to do, and this is probably one of the most underrated exercises, and I never see people doing it. I went to one of the largest universities and one of the biggest gyms, probably in the United States, and I never saw people doing this. And we're talking about, nonetheless, the bench dumbbell flies. I have never seen people do the dumbbell flies. And I love doing the dumbbell flies just how Arnold did. I keep my feet up and I like getting that deep stretch. Most of the people, when they do flies, they're doing flies with either cables, or they're going to go ahead and use the machine right here. See how he's doing flies? The machine flies. And I am going to say, I didn't do flies for the first 2 years of working out. And when I switched to do flies, the third year, I kind of started doing them and started throwing them in my routine on the third year. I will tell you, the outside of my chest started to round out and I saw a noticeable difference. This is a really good exercise. Now, I'm not saying it's the best, but I think it's a really good exercise to sculpt your chest and give it that round look. Flies are necessary for that. I mean, it's just a movement. It feels good every time I do it. It feels good. And then in 3 months, I saw a noticeable difference. So guys, if you are not doing the dumbbell flies, and if you're not keeping your feet up like how Arnold did it in the days, dude, I don't know what you're doing. You're missing out on a solid exercise that is going to grow your chest in a way you've never seen it grow before if you're just sticking to basic exercises. Guys, throw this in your routine. I promise you, you won't regret it. But because you can't just rely on this, like if you don't do barbell flat, if you don't do incline, you can't rely on this to grow your chest. You can't just rely on going into a hotel gym and lifting with flies and expect to get a chest like Arnold. That's not what this is going to allow you to do. This is more of one of those exercises where you have to throw it on top of what you're doing. It's kind of an addition. It's one of those things you have to add it and pair it with a compound movement to finish sculpting. This is a sculpting tool, and because of that, we're going to throw it in A tier. It's not S tier because you can't just do this. You can grow a good, decent chest with a flat barbell bench and an incline. You can't grow it with just doing a fly. Fly is adding to a movement. You have to have those compound movements. And you're going to see probably all the compound movements being in S tier. Maybe not all of them, but most of them will be in S tier because they are the core foundation to growing a massive body part, whether that's chest, back, legs. So with that, guys, throw in flies. You will not regret it. Moving on, while we're here, what I like to do is if I'm going to finish my chest, if I have a solo chest day, I'm going to go straight into cables. Cable flies, whether you do an incline, decline, you're doing a cable press. Now, cable press, that's just necessary. I mean, it's how you get the cross striations. I mean, the cable is an extremely good finisher. It is a sculpting tool. And you can't really go wrong with cables. It's another kind of addition to your compound movements if you're going to be sculpting on the body. So with that being said, cables, I love cables. I've seen massive growth without cables. I would say cables aren't too important, but they are that sculpting tool. And in the beginning days, I did cables. I will say I did a bench, incline, and then I went straight in the cables. And I didn't really do any other things, but cables, they're very important for the striations, especially if you're in your bodybuilding, you're cutting, and you want to really start to see that chest pop. You want to see the striations. You want to see just how developed your chest is. You're going to need cables to keep that up. You're going to need cables to really get that final sculpt and definition. It's just a really easy way, especially if you're gassed. Cables are really good. If you're gassed and you just want to keep it light, they allow you to control the weight and really just push and get that squeeze. Whereas a bench, you kind of just fail. You can't really push towards that extra level of failure. That's why cables, they're good. I'm going to give it a B. I'm going to give cables a solid B. I don't think they're necessary. I think you can get a lot more if you have a spotter on bench than you can with cables. And I think you can get a lot more out of the dumbbells just because of the stretch. But I could be wrong. I'm going to get a lot of hate there, but I'm just going to say cables are B. They're not my favorite. They're not the most fun. Next, we're going to be moving to the machine press. Chest press machine. Now, I am not a huge fan of machines. I think they're really good finishers. But in terms of growth and in terms of what you can achieve with them, I mean, they're thrown in hotels. I mean, no true bodybuilder is going to be It's more of kind of, I use machines when I get bored of my routine, but I never get bored of bench press. Chest press is not bad. I don't see it as a compound movement if you really want to hyper focus in on the chest. To me, I don't get motivated with chest machines. I don't really get motivated with the amount of weight you can stack on it. It's just one of those machines where, if I'm feeling lazy, I sit down and I use it. But in terms of building a very sculpted body, chest press is just not there. And honestly, I'm going to have to throw it B tier. And I don't know if it deserves to be the same as cables, because cables you can get a good stretch. But I think it honestly is one of those where it's not necessary. It's between B and C. I hate to throw it in C. Cables probably deserve to be A. Here's what I'll do. I'm going to throw it in B, and I'll throw cables in A. And I know that goes against everything I just said, but just hear me out. We're going to stick with this. Okay? We're going to stick with this. Cables are good, but to me, machines definitely in B, and declines definitely in C. But nonetheless, let's just move on. It goes against what I'm saying, but I had a change of heart, guys. It deserves to be an A. Machine deserves to be in B. It's not bad, but in terms of bodybuilding, in terms of sculpting, if you want to really target your chest, that's just where you're going to be at. Let's just move on. Move on. We're going to be doing a chest-focused dip. Now, this is whenever you lean forward and you're mainly kind of doing it with your chest. This is a compound movement. It's not bad. I love whenever I do a push day and I have chest and then I have tries, having a dip where I do focus a little bit on the lower chest and then highly on your triceps. It's a really good combination, especially because you're doing it on your chest and tri day. So and I'm going to do this one more related on the chest. If I'm doing an exercise, a dip focused on the chest, it is always going to be good. I mean, a dip is really essentially the squat of the upper body. It's good no matter what. It targets your tricep, it targets your chest. It is just overall really good, and you can get a really good deep stretch, and that it allows you to really just stack the weight, stack the stretch, and have control over that. And with that being said, this one's going to be thrown in A tier. It's just really good. It's a compound movement that is necessary. Now, here we are. We're back to another machine. We're doing a machine fly. Now, I have tons of friends that do machine flies. Machine flies allow you to stack a lot of weight, a lot more weight than you can do with the dumbbells. And you can really target it on the chest, but I feel like every time I do the machine fly, I just don't have that control and that stretch ability on the chest. Sometimes I feel like I'm using more muscles. And because of that, because I use a lot more muscles when I'm doing this, I'm honestly going to have to throw, it's not my favorite. I would much rather use a dumbbell fly than a machine. And I'm not saying this is bad. This is, over the 4 years of me bodybuilding, I've not really used the machine for doing flies. Most of the time when I do this, I am doing either I'm bored, maybe it's a day I'm not feeling too great and I just sit down, or if I'm working in with a buddy that's doing it, I'll be like, all right, fuck it, we'll do it. But other than that, I mean, it's a good stretch. You can push a lot more weight than dumbbells, so if you're really trying to put on some mass and size, it's an easy way to do it and control it without the fear of kind of pulling a muscle and pulling your chest. But it's not one of my favorite. I haven't really used it, and it's not that necessary. But it's not a bad exercise. You can totally replace this with anything else. Most of the time, I would, in the beginning days of bodybuilding, I'd flat bench, incline, and then I went straight to cables. And I would do cable flies. And I really didn't touch the machines, but the machines are there. They allow you to push so much more weight than the cables. It's not a bad exercise, but if I'm going to choose which one developed my chest better, it's got to be dumbbells. And with that being said, this one's got to be B. It is not my favorite, but yeah, guys, that's it from a 4-year kind of veteran, a little over 4-year veteran in the gym and going 6 days a week without fail kind of these last 4 years. See, this is kind of my perspective on these exercises, and I don't think I've ever missed chest over any other body part. I've always made sure I go ahead and hit chest. I've never missed it. It's one of my favorite muscles to actually work out. There's a reason none of these exercises in D. Chest is always fun to work out no matter what. It's always good for me to spice it up in the gym, but if I'm keeping the core workouts, if I'm keeping things that I like to do and are kind of my without fail will do on a chest day, flat bench and incline will always be there. I would consider, if I have such a bad day, I would consider hitting those two even shittily a good gym day. And remember, whenever you're working out, what builds a really good body is not the actual exercise. It's really the consistency and the eating. So to me, as long as you're showing up and you're doing any workout, you're gonna grow. So guys, this is my chest tier list. I'm happy with it. I know I kind of did that Uno reverse card on the cables. I had a second heart. I mean, cables are really good for the stretch, especially when you're doing decline. You can really target decline and incline. So just touching back on that. I think this is a solid list. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. In the next video, we're gonna be looking at back exercises. So go ahead and pop over to that video and see what I think there. Catch you later.